Whether you have fake friends or not, and whether you know about it or not, this is just the movie for you as long as you have friends. And be sure to stick around to the end because this review is going to be sick.
David is dead. Somebody slit his throat.
What?
With a fucking sword, you fucking sick fuck!
Finally, I've watched Bodies, and the movie wasn't bad at all. And to be honest, I actually really enjoyed it. When I watched the movie for the first time, I got the whole thing wrong since I kept wondering who the murderer was, and I could never predict what was going to happen next. I actually found the movie on YTS, and to be honest, I had no idea about the movie because I had not watched any trailers or teasers about it. So I straight up went to Google and searched for it, but that was actually my mistake because it misled me in a kind of way. So on Google it read, when a group of 20-somethings get stuck at a remote mansion during a hurricane, a party game gone very wrong ends with a dead body on the ground and fake friends at everything as they try to find the killer among them. And how did the review on Google mislead me? I kept expecting what was never going to happen. When they popped the champagne, I thought it was poison. When B was given a drink, I thought it was poison as well. And even when she was eating the cake, same thoughts ran through my mind. So the whole idea and concept behind the movie in a brief is that it was all about a group of 8 friends who decided to hang out with each other in a friend named David's house. Their friend Alice came over with her newly met boyfriend Greg, whom David didn't really like and jealous a little bit, and that together with their mistrust for one another led to the deaths of 5 of them. So in the intro of the movie, Greg basically popped the champagne with a sharp sword, which everyone thought was cool. After a series of enjoyments, Sophie came up with the idea that they should play bodies. So in the game, they basically cut papers and shuffle them, with one random paper having an X on it. The person who chose that paper would be the murderer, and he or she would have to sneak around and murder someone by just tapping them on the back. Greg fell victim to this, and now it was left with the team to figure out who the murderer was and vote him or her out. David decided to pick on his girlfriend and accuse her of being the murderer, but this was a very terrible idea because her girlfriend Emma had a thing of swallowing whenever she was nervous. Her boyfriend David, on the other hand, found that very unpleasant and unattractive. So immediately she swallowed when she was nervous. He said this.
I love you, but when you swallow, it's just fucking like why? It's very unattractive. I don't know why you do it.
Oko and Big Mouth Alice escalated the whole situation when she brought up a very embarrassing topic for the two.
Oh my god, is that why you guys never have sex?
What?
This led to David becoming angry and saying very mean things to his girlfriend, so everyone decided to vote him out as the murderer. As bored as he was, he went out into the hurricane to film a new TikTok challenge using his dad's sword to pop champagne, and that was when he was murdered. Now it was left with the team to figure out who the real murderer was. They couldn't leave the mansion since they had no form of transportation. The only car that they all brought there had been taken away by Alex after he got into a fight with David. And Sophie's car was also not responding because B left the lights on when she was applying her makeup. Jordan, on her way out to check the generator, found the sword which was used to murder David. During their debate to figure out who the murderer was, it came to their attention that Alex met Greg just 2 weeks before the party. And after going through his things and finding out that he had circled the mansion on the map and that he wasn't really clicking with David earlier, everyone, with the exception of his girlfriend Alice, suspected him. Now it was time to confront Greg, and the team did it in a not so pleasing way. They went up to him with all the knives available in the house. One thing led to the other, and he murdered him right in front of everyone to protect her girlfriend Sophie. After further analysis led to the fact that Greg wasn't a retired soldier from Afghanistan as they thought, and he was just a vet, they realized that they had assassinated the wrong person. So now, who murdered David? Third on the death list was Emma. As irritated and high as Sophie was, she was raging with anger when they revolved David's death around the fact that Max confessed her feelings about Emma to everybody. So Max had maybe murdered David. After saying very mean things to Emma, Sophie regretted it and offered her some hardcore drugs as compensation.
Yeah.
In the next scene, Emma's body was found right in front of the staircase, and Sophie couldn't tell anyone that she gave her some hardcore drugs because they would blame her for the other deaths as well. Later in the movie, Bee was thrown out into the hurricane because the ladies found her weird since she was wearing makeup despite all that was happening.
Are you wearing makeup?
She went into Sophie's car to change her hoodie, and on her way back to the mansion, she got a glimpse of Jordan taking Avery's father's gun. After finding a secret passage back into the mansion, she drew everyone's attention to what she had seen and asked Jordan to empty her pockets if she had no gun on her. It turned out that she had hid the gun in the sofa, but did that clear her name as not being the murderer? No, she actually exposed herself as being the only one who picked the paper with an X on it, making her the murderer in the bodies game, but kept it a secret because she didn't want to draw any unnecessary attention.
I googled you, and there was nobody with your name who graduated from Utah State this year.
After Bee explained every accusation placed on her in a tangible way, that she attended Utah State for only a semester and she had to quit and take care of a man because she had borderline, and that she worked at Game Hut but they closed a week before she met Sophie, Jordan didn't really buy this, so she went for the gun and pointed it at her friends. That began to show how fake friends they were. Alice and Jordan jailed Sophie because she had really rich parents, and that they even had to debate about inviting her over to the party. Jordan hated Alice's podcast and she had been pretending the entire time that she liked it. Alice also didn't really like Jordan that much and she only hung out with her out of pity. And after Alice told Jordan that her parents were upper middle class and that they taught at a university, Jordan shot her in the neck. The ladies fell on the sofa and struggled for the gun on the floor until someone mistakenly pulled the trigger. It was Alice's body which was left laying lifelessly on the floor. At this point, Sophie and Bee were almost convinced that Jordan was the murderer, so they rushed her and Bee ended up throwing Jordan over the staircase right into a glass table, leading to her death. Her final words were,
Check her text.
For some unknown reason, Sophie really didn't want Bee to check her text with Jordan, which meant that she may have done something with her. The movie never made that clear. After separating themselves until morning, they could only see Bee looking for Sophie as Sophie hugged her from behind with the pistol in her hand and convinced that she gave Emma some drugs as compensation, which made her high, so she slipped from the staircase and fell to her death. But it wasn't really her intention to kill her. Bee snatched the pistol from her hand and demanded she saw the text between her and Jordan. Sophie refused and threw the phone into the mud, which had been caused by the hurricane.
Fix your Jordan. No.
After the two struggled in the mud, they found David's phone and Bee unlocked it with his face. It was then that they found out that no one murdered him, but he died out of his own carelessness trying to film a TikTok challenge. All the friends they had lost was all due to their mistrust for one another, and no one was ever the murderer that they were looking for. Okay, so now for the last part of the video, let's dive into the two main mistakes that I found in Bodies that I bet you didn't notice. Okay, so for the first mistake, in this scene when the hurricane began, we saw Greg wearing his pajamas and having a great time, and in the next scene, he was now wearing his pajamas. For the last continuity mistake that I found in Bodies, in this scene when they were trying to figure out who the murderer amongst them was, Jordan was seated the entire time in this chair, but when it was time for her to vote, she was sitting on this table all of a sudden.
I vote David.
I'm smart! I'm strong! I'm ready for what comes along! I got good.
Don't forget to like this video for more content like this, and enjoy the rest of your day. This is one of the dumbest movies I've ever watched, and as an African, I totally hate it.